So as we all know it, we ourselves as human beings, we encompass who we are in the collectives of the universe. And as collectives of the universe, we have a tendency to be who we are, and the most vital perspective is how we coexist among nature, among one another as a society or human beings, and or of how we are able to govern ourselves and how we are able to encompass the journey of our existences into the realms of the positive for something greater than ourselves. And as we are alive, we coexist in such a perspective to where we have a deeper understanding throughout the duration of time that we exist upon the earth. As we exist and breathe the air of the universe, we're able to circumscribe our desires and our actions for something greater, for something above and beyond ourselves. So that's ultimately what I promote through this inspiration project of ours. As you may or may not know, for those of you who are relatively new to watching our videos and or to be a part of this project, through watching this video you are ultimately indoctrinated as a part of this inspiration project, and that's what our obligation is for a purpose, for creating videos for this project. I was going to say channel, but it's not a channel. A channel is something that's more or less along the lines and the borderlines of something mediocre, but this is something beyond ourselves, higher and much greater than what serves the purpose of ourselves. And we merely are messengers of, we are fulfilling the obligation of our duty to helping humanity in the modern age of our world today and of our universe. So I like to begin with my name. Obviously, I'm not sure if you can read that or not, but if you could, please bear with me. So my name is Cody Gremlin. It's most delightful as it is an honor to meeting you virtually. If you are watching this video, I'd introduce myself. That's my name, Cody Gremlin. So, introductions aside. So with introductions aside, so the universe is ultimately over, let's say, 100 billion years. 100 billion years old. So what had encompassed our existence was derived from the creation crafted in ourselves from our divine creator, the light of providence, the wayseer of ourselves, and or whichever that you should decide to believe in is your prerogative. For the sake from my perspective, I believe we were indeed created by our divine creator, so we shall refer to him as God. And as God had crafted the entire universe, the entire structure of the universe, and within it, we were created from the perfections of mankind, which was nature being one of them. And third, even despite we ourselves as human beings, we share our imperfections among one another as we coexist in the entire world, and beyond it is the universe. So this is a universe around here. The universe is something that is truly infinite, as it is unexplainable, it is unattainable. So therefore, we were created, human beings. Human beings as the entire galaxy of the world even despite we truly are imperfect ourselves, we still make the very best of ourselves. And the greatest of ourselves is what we are able to rise above our obstacles and to circumscribe the circumference of who we are as human beings, as a collective within the universe, within the entire infant structure and the foundations of our world. We lay the foundations each chapter of our lives, and every day is a new beginning of a new journey of life. And we begin with a new journey of life each day that we may coexist in the universe. And ultimately, in order to improve upon the foundations of who you are as a human being, you must lay the brick layers of our foundations within your lives every day of your existences, as explained in a previous Professor Cody video. And if you want to click on that video, the link would actually be found. Let's just draw a little square box so you guys can click on, which can be found right here. So if you wish, please click on this video, on this box right here. So getting back to what I was speaking of was laying upon the foundations, the layers of a project. And the same thing that applies in reality's perspective is the same as if you were to apply to building upon your characteristic, upon the adoption of who you are as a collective, as a human being. And with that being said, out from the creation, from the light of providence, from God, was derived of nature and of human beings, as well as animals, or otherwise creatures, if you will. I rather refer to them being as animals. So, ultimately, what you have here is, I'm going to illustrate a portrait of human beings and animals. So do forgive me if I'm not the greatest talented artist there is. Which is here, human beings. Something simple. And this is who we are. Little stick figure. This is human beings on its no top. There, and herein lies animals. I'm going to draw a little doggy, big ears like this, like so. Draw little paws. His little doggy. He's got his little tail. So here I have drawn a portrait of an animal as well as a human being here. And let's point out the similarities and differences between them. Ultimately, and as in addition to what embraces human beings, we obviously use words to encompass our further understanding in order to receive in the airwaves of our consciousness, of our minds, of who we are. Actually, who we are, yes. To encompass in our consciousness, in the collectives of our minds and our psychology, to receive information as well as to project outwards for what we are able to discover in life, to adapt knowledge and to learn and harvest and cultivate and embrace knowledge. And I'm sure you understand the point of it. So what I'm saying is, we are able to therefore listen as well as to speak and project outwards of our words. So the ability to speak on an animal perspective, human beings, we're able to speak, we are able to discover, we are able to understand the deeper enhancement of our knowledge and to being able to become a collective among cultures of the world. We are able to be sociable. Everything in which that should be obvious to who we are as human beings. And on the animal side, we are able to, oh, that's more or less different. Coming over here to the animal side, they eat, they sleep, and they speak some few little words. They as well discover. They are knowledgeable. They are quite sociable. As well as everything about them. We have two arms and 2 legs, and they have 4 legs here. We have 2 arms, 2 legs. We walk upright, they walk on all 4s. So collectively, us as human beings, we're able to speak fluent sentences of words in which animals cannot. However, animals do. Animals do speak, however, they speak in a context of their own perspectives, of their own words. They incorporate body language, they incorporate words, few minor words that they are able to, in essence, communicate within one another, within us, with us as human beings, as well as to being able to speak with and communicate with other animals. So they ultimately, much like us as human beings, we both discover things, new things and more vibrant things that was unknown to us. And animals, just like human beings, we have a capability to manifest knowledge and harvest knowledge and discover a new in-depth perceptions of life, of existence. And they are quite sociable. Obviously, they are our greatest friends. And they are quite sociable when they want to be. Or at least I should say, when we want to be. There are those of us who are not very sociable, not very trusting of others as we are misanthropics. However, animals will always embrace the universal love of correlating between us as human beings and within animals, within the animal psychology of their sociology, within the animal kingdom. Animals have a universal love that they absolutely adore to sharing with us. And that's the most important perspective to have, is to embrace one another as human beings and to embrace animals. Dogs, cats, you name it. And dogs and animals in themselves are able to discover, to speak, to live and coexist almost the same lifestyle and correspondence and existence as us as human beings. However, animals, with exception, they live a more simplistic lifestyle in which that does not demand all that much from them. Not as much as that is expected of us as we follow the laws of the universe as a collective that demands so much more from us as human beings. And animals in themselves are something they are innocent. They are every part of our collectives. They are truly a sharing, a bonding between the unity through diversity of who we are as human beings, along with animals. We share the same positive correlation and correspondence within one another. So as you can see here, as old as the universe is in itself, we are able to correlate in a positive correspondence and correlation within us as human beings and within animals in themselves. So we very much have to, it's a mandatory perspective that we must be able to coexist among ourselves, among nature, among the entire universe as a conscious collective, as I would like to prefer to call it, as I refer to as. And we have to embrace the concept of animals and of the world's creatures. And through doing so, we're able to pave the foundations and lay the brick layers of our world, of our future together as a collective. Because ultimately, whether if you believe it or not, regardless of your misconceptions or your idealisms or your theories or hypocrisies or your perspectives or perceptions, either inward or outward into the world, we must find ways in which we would become a unity through diversity, practice and promote different cultures and tolerance, the sharing of a natural beauty and essence of life, and how we are able to manifest and coexist peacefully among one another as human beings. We must be able to correspond within ourselves and ultimately create a more positive change in ourselves for who and what we are before it's too late. So as shown, as illustrated here, as illustrated here, there is obviously a much similar resemblance between animals and human beings. And we are, in truth, not much different than animals than we might like to believe to our convictions. There's not enough of a sense of gratitude that is derived from us as a collective, as human beings, that we lack the understanding and knowledge of the cultivating of different cultures, of different parts, vital aspects of the world. And as we remain apathetic towards not only within ourselves but towards one another, and especially we remain apathetic towards the entire universe. So how do we encompass a journey of our chapters of our existences into something of a perfect humanity, of perfecting our imperfections is accomplished and achieved through our success of how we are able to gradually take one day at a time in order to balance our walk in the positives and in the light. And we are able to achieve this through the virtues of practice and of patience of one day at a time. And ultimately that's like the most important thing to consider. As long as you try and all the best that you possibly could in life, you have to remain who you are as your own individual. And all in due time, you will accomplish even the greatest of obstacles. You will achieve even the most impossible. So I hope that this video had inspired you, and this is just covering one aspect of it. I basically wanted to show of how we are just as important as nature or wildlife or the entire universe that consists of nature, animals, and of human beings. So thank you so much for watching, And please subscribe to this inspiration project. I most certainly hope that you had enjoyed watching this video. Please share our videos with others, as well as in addition, please provide your feedback in the comments below. And God bless, namaste, peace, and Yahshua.